Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I am going to make some white lasagna for supper, so I'm going to share that recipe with you right now. And we're going to start with, I have actually preheated my oven to 375. I sprayed my 9x13. I went ahead and I cooked. I'm going to drain 9 lasagna noodles. So I'm done with those. And so now in my pan, I need to brown 1 pound of Italian sausage, and we're using mild, but you could use one that's a little spicier. And to that, I'm going to add about 2 stalks of celery that I've cut up, or ribs of celery, and about 1/4 of an onion and 3 cloves of garlic. Now I need to cook these together until that sausage is completely cooked. So I'll come back and show you what we do next after that's done cooking. Okay, our vegetables have started to get tender and the sausage is completely browned. So now I'm going to take 1/2 cup of white wine and add that. And I want to cook this for about 3 or 4 minutes until that wine cooks down a little bit. And then to that, I'm going to add 1 cup of half and half, 3 ounces of cream cheese, and then a spice mixture, and I'll tell you what's in that when I get ready to add it. That has reduced down, so now I'm ready to add that cup of cream, or half and half. And I want to add that 3 ounces of cream cheese. And my spice mixture, which I have in here, I have 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I have some salt and pepper, and that's pretty much to taste. I would go heavier on the pepper than the salt. And 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And I'm also going to put in 1/4 of a cup of fresh basil that I've chopped up. Okay. When I'm doing the basil, I don't like buying the basil in the little containers because I don't seem to use them up fast enough that they spoil before I can use them up. So we bought the living one, and so it's in water, and so I can use this as I go, and it keeps it fresh. So that might be an option that you would want to think about as well. Okay, I'm going to let this cook until that cream cheese melts. And then I'm ready to set this off the heat. In my bowl, I have my cottage cheese, and I have 1.5 cups of cottage cheese, and I've also shredded up some white cheddar cheese, about 2 cups. Another thing that I tried, and I really like it, I have a cone-shaped shredder. If you have one, then it's really handy. It doesn't seem to be as dangerous as the other for me. Okay, so my white cheddar. And then I also want to add to that 1 egg that I'm going to beat up slightly in my dish. It smells good. So next is that. And I've stated before, I like cottage cheese better in my lasagnas than I do ricotta, just because of the texture. Now, there are times I'll use half and half, just because I like the flavor it gives, but I don't like the texture of the ricotta. Okay, so now I have 3 of my noodles in the bottom of my sprayed 9 by 13, and I want to start layering. So I have my 3 noodles. Then I want to use half of my sausage mixture. Put this back over. And if you have sausage that's fatty, you might want to drain that before you add the wine to it. Mine was pretty lean. Let me spread that out. And I want to add half of my cottage cheese mixture. To put on top of that some sliced mozzarella. You see, it's going to be a really cheesy lasagna. Then I'm going to repeat. So I need 3 noodles. This is the part I dislike the most because I always burn myself. To my sauce mix. Just do it over the top. Get it to those corners. Half of my cottage cheese mixture. Slices of mozzarella. And this was 12 slices of the really thin sliced mozzarella. And then I want to use my last 3 noodles. And over the top of this, I have gone ahead and shredded up Gouda, and I have about 1.5 to 2 cups of shredded up Gouda that I'm going to put all over the top. And I want to bake this in that 375-degree oven for 50 to 60 minutes. And at that point, when I take it out, I'll sprinkle about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan over the top, and it will be ready to go. So I covered the lasagna with foil and baked it at 375 for 50 minutes. Then I took the foil off and baked it another 10 to 15 minutes. Now it's ready for us to sprinkle on the Parmesan, and then we can eat it. Good morning and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. We meaning I'm going to prep it. My husband's going to do the smoking part of it. Are going to smoke a couple of chickens that we're going to have for lunch tomorrow. So I started off with 2 nice sized baking chickens. And I left these out to get closer to room temperature. And then I dried them off, and then I'm going to put oil all over them. And then a combination of garlic salt, and pepper, both inside and out. And then these need to go back in the refrigerator for about 4 hours to let that salt kind of permeate the chicken, those seasonings. And then we'll put our favorite rubs on it. And we have a couple that we like. You can use whichever rub is your favorite. And you will put that all over your chicken inside and out, and then you'll put it on the smoker, and we'll come back when we're ready to put these on the smoker. Just make sure you get as much of that salt, because it's kind of like a dry brine for the chicken. So we're back from Josh's ball game. It's been a little over 4 hours. Our chickens have been letting that dry brine activate in the refrigerator. Now we're ready to put the rub on, and we're going to use 2 different kinds of rub. Again, you can use whatever your favorite rub is. We always like Kinder's rubs. This one is bourbon peach. We also have a sweet bourbon rub that we got at, trying to think of the name of the store, in Branson, Missouri. They have all the spices and marinades and stuff. So anyway, I'm going to take one of my chickens, and I'm going to apply, if I can get it open, one of the rubs, and be generous. I'm going to let this rub in. Now, when we put it on the smoker, we're going to put the smoker anywhere from 225 to 250, and this will take about 3 hours on the smoker. But at about an hour to an hour and a half in, we want to spritz it with some butter or some oil to keep the skin, to make it crispier. And then we want to do that again about another hour or half hour before it's done. So and you can use any wood pellet that you like on your smoker. For chicken, a lot of times they recommend pecan or hickory, but apple works well as well. We have a blend that we like to use. Wash my hands, and then I'm going to do bourbon peach. On the other one. And we're doing 2 because we're having several for lunch tomorrow. Plus, it just makes sense if you've got the smoker going. Sometimes we'll do, my hand, sometimes we'll do different kinds of meat. So we're smoking several at the same time. You could also do these chickens in the oven if you don't have a smoker. It just doesn't give the same flavor, obviously, that when you smoke them on low temperature for a slow amount of time. Okay, those are both ready to go on the smoker. Okay, so we've got the 2 birds on the smoker, and we will check them periodically. We will put oil on them, or butter, in about an hour to an hour and a half, and then we'll just keep checking. It should only take about 3 hours, but you always want to check the internal temperature. Okay, it's been about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes or so, and so we're ready for the first brush down of some melted butter. And then we'll let these continue to smoke for another couple of hours. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.